truck I'm driving is profitable for the operator while being kind to the environment, but it's not the FL6. The truck I'm driving has a high payload capacity and proven fuel economy, but it's not the FL7. The truck I'm driving is synonymous with quality, performance and innovation, but it's not the FL10. The truck I'm driving is a Volvo. It's the latest addition to our range. You may have read about it, you may have even seen it. You've definitely heard about it. And today I would like you to join me in driving it. It is, of course, our latest FH. During our test drive, I'm going to prove that Volvo puts the power in your hands.
The key objectives behind the development of the new FH was to produce a truck that reduced operating costs with high payload, good fuel consumption, good performance, excellent driving environment, and above all, a truck that meets the environmental and legal requirements of both today and tomorrow. Basically, we've produced a truck that is new from the tyres up. The objectives have been achieved by many hours of wind tunnel testing, which has produced, without doubt, the most aerodynamic truck on the market. Basically, by reducing the air drag on the truck, we can reduce fuel consumption because we reduce the power required to overcome wind resistance. We've optimised the weight of the truck by using computer stress analysis, but by doing this, we haven't sacrificed any of the safety in the truck. The new engine has been developed from a clean sheet upwards. And the reason for this is to get the best balance between the emission control and fuel consumption. The FH project has taken 9 years to bring it to this stage. It's cost Volvo in the region of £600 million, not just in terms of the product and its research, but also in terms of the manufacturing technology that's been involved. The FH range is quite simply the most modern range of trucks on the road. It's even exceeded our levels of expectation. The FH range can be described as nothing less than dramatic.
And here's the result of all that planning and investment, the FH. But before we drive off, there are a number of practical points that form the basis of the driver's daily checklist. After checking the vehicle and trailer lighting and the coupling for security, open the front service panel here and check the clutch fluid reservoir, the coolant reservoir, the engine oil fill, and the engine oil dipstick. Now, when checking the engine oil level, make sure it's between the two levels on the dipstick, between the minimum and the maximum marks. It's a common mistake to top the oil level up to the maximum point on a daily basis. The engine will find its correct oil level, so whatever happens, don't overfill. And the same goes for the coolant system. If it's between the two marks, then leave it alone. And finally, the climate unit's air filter. Now, this should be cleaned once a month. The H in FH stands for high. So to assist you in cleaning the windscreen, 3 non-slip steps have been built into the front bumper and grille. Moving on, the windscreen washer reservoir will be found here. It has 13 litres capacity, and when you're down to the last 2 litres, a lamp will light on the instrument panel to remind you to top up the screen wash. There are 2 large storage lockers on either side of the cab, and the toe pin, which is unique to FH, is found here. As with all the information we're giving you today, you will find full details in the driver information binder. The cab tilt facility is slightly different to other Volvo trucks, and it works like this. With the gear lever in neutral and both doors firmly closed, and remember to store any loose items in the cab, take the cab tilt adapter and turn the pump valve clockwise to the raise position. Assemble the cab tilt rod and tilt the cab. However, if your truck is fitted with the electric cab tilt facility, then all you have to do is press the switch on the dashboard, open the manual valve, and using the adapter, turn the external switch to the raise position. Remember, the cab tilts to 70 degrees, so leave plenty of room in front of the truck. And lowering the cab is simply the reverse of this procedure. And don't forget, it's good practice to drain the air tanks daily. Daily checks done, you can climb aboard.
The FH cab is the result of one of the most extensive projects we've ever undertaken. To the experience of our own cab design team, we've added the opinion of over 1,500 drivers and operators to produce a cab that is comfortable, safe and efficient. Basically, we have day cab, sleeper cab and globetrotters for those who want to travel around Europe. Across the range, some features do change from cab to cab, but they're all built to a consistent level of quality. Many optional features that you see on competitor models are actually standard in all FH cabs, and these include such items as cruise control, radio cassette, high quality seating and adjustable steering column.
There are a number of different seat styles available depending on the cab trim level specified. So see your driver instruction book for full details of their operation. Once you have the seat adjusted, press this pedal here for multi-adjustment of the steering wheel. You can also use it to assist entry and exit by pushing the steering wheel forwards. So now we see the driver's view of the new FH cab, and one of the most distinctive features is the tachograph. This is an entirely new design which incorporates many helpful features. To open the recording chart holder, turn the key to the right. To adjust the clock, use this control to set the correct time. The second driver's recorder chart is fitted behind the chart separator. If there is no co-driver, fit the plastic disc supplied to protect the recorder head. Driver time is always registered on the outer chart, so if the drivers change over, the charts must also change place. Use the driver 1 and 2 controls as normal to register activity. The button on the right is to reset the trip meter. The button on the left is used to reset the speed at which the amber speed indicator lamp lights up. Another useful feature is the long driving time warning signal. After a driving time of 4 hours and 25 minutes, the tachograph reminds the driver that it's time to take a rest by flashing the amber lamp and emitting 2 short peeps. After a further 5 minutes, the reminder is repeated. The standard and C-trim variants are fitted with conventional gauges. However, this CD level is equipped with the driver information system, which gives both a digital readout and a graphical presentation. It also includes a trip computer. Full details are found in the driver information binder. The switchgear include the following. To the right of the steering wheel we have the vehicle's lighting and heated rear mirror switches, and on the left the heating and ventilation controls, and here's a new one, the exhaust and engine brake switch, the differential lock and the cab tilt switch if fitted. On the steering column stalks we have the wiper and wash facility on the right, and on the left we have the direction indicators and the main and dip beam function. This stalk also includes the cruise control switchgear, which is standard on all FH trucks. You will have gathered by now that the FH series has a number of unique features, one of which is a brand new design of Volvo engine.
The D12 engine began quite literally with a clean sheet, which meant that every component could be designed and developed without compromise to meet the objectives set out at the start of the project. We wanted a 12-litre 6-cylinder fuel-efficient, low-emission engine producing high power with ratings at 340, 380 and 420 with generous helpings of torque across a wide rev band. These objectives were met with an overhead camshaft driving 4 valves per cylinder and the concept of a new concept of unit injectors, replacing the conventional fuel pump and injectors and subsequent pipework. High fuel pressure is provided by the injector's pumping element, and fuel delivery is controlled by a solenoid. All this is controlled by an engine management system that calculates and controls the point of injection and the amount of fuel delivered for every beat the engine makes. We haven't seen such radical changes before, and these, in a nutshell, sum up what the D12 engine is all about. The benefits to the driver are power, flexible torque characteristics with less gear shifting and subsequent fuel savings. and the benefits that the engine management system can offer, such as easy start-up and cruise control.
Unlike other engines in the Volvo range, the FH12 does not have a preheating system fitted as standard. Therefore, the starting procedure differs slightly. Turn the key to the drive position and the warning lamps will light. After approximately 3 seconds, the check engine lamp will go out. But should this remain lit or start to flash, then refer to the diagnostic system and the fault codes, which can be found at the back of the operating instructions. Once the check engine lamp has gone out, turn the key to the start position and hold it there until the engine starts. It can take up to 6 seconds before the engine will start, depending on engine temperature. The reason for this is that the electronic control unit is measuring many functions to ensure a perfect start. And remember, there's no need to touch the accelerator pedal during starting. On a cold engine, the control unit will automatically raise the engine idle to assist the warm-up, and until the coolant temperature reaches 40 degrees centigrade, when it will revert to a normal idle. It's also important that the engine brake is switched off until it reaches this temperature. Before driving off, press the foot brake pedal for a few seconds, otherwise the cruise control will not operate. Seatbelt on, and we're ready to go. The gross train weight of this truck is 38 tons, so first gear low split is the right choice. To use a higher gear would cause excessive clutch slippage and therefore increased wear. The low range is selected by pushing down the red range switch. The splitter control by pushing in the lower part of the rocker switch. When you select first gear, you will automatically select low split. First gear selected, and off we go. As we're on level ground, we don't need full power, so only part accelerator is necessary. Neither do we need all the gears, so we'll block shift into third. To pre-select the range, simply lift the red range switch up and move into the fourth gear position. The high range is selected automatically when you move through the neutral position. Into the next gear, which is fifth, and now we want fifth high. To select that, push the upper part of the splitter control in and simply dip the clutch. The next ratio we'll take will be 6 low. You'll notice on the instrument panel that the amber information lamp for the splitter control is on when in low split and goes out when we select the high split. You'll be amazed at just how far this truck can travel on a small amount of power. So ease up on the accelerator for good economy, and wherever possible, use the cruise control. It works like this. Once you've reached the desired speed, simply press the button on the cruise control switch to set your speed. To accelerate, press the button again to increase speed, and to decelerate, slide the switch to the resume position to reduce. To disengage the cruise control, either slide the switch to off or press the clutch or brake pedal. It's both quicker and easier to touch the brake pedal to disengage the cruise control. We're coming to a steep downhill up ahead, and this is a good opportunity to see yet another unique feature of FH.
With the D12 engine being designed from the sump up, it was intended to incorporate a secondary engine braking system that was highly efficient, easy to use and low in weight. The end result being the Volvo engine brake, which in simple terms enhances the engine's own characteristics of acting like a compressor when the engine is on overrun. The first position on the switch activates the exhaust pressure regulator, which closes off the exhaust outlet. This creates a high back pressure, making it difficult for our so-called temporary compressor to expel air on its own exhaust stroke, increasing the retardation to 215 horsepower. The second position on the switch activates the exhaust pressure regulator plus the engine compression brake. It works like this. 2 lobes on the camshaft pop open the exhaust valves at strategic points. Firstly, to fill the cylinder with back pressure to increase the compressor effect, and secondly, at the top of the compression stroke, to expel the high pressure. thus preventing its assistance on the return stroke. Throughout this operation, there is no fuel delivery. The result is an incredible retardation effort of 320 horsepower at 2,300 RPM. To enable ease of use, the switch can be pre-selected and activation controlled by releasing the accelerator. Because higher engine revs give better braking, downshifting is made easy also, with the engine brake switching off automatically when the clutch is depressed and on again when the pedal is fully released. In order to protect the engine, the brake will also switch off below 1100 RPM. To sum up, the Volvo engine brake keeps your feet free when braking and downshifting, increases vehicle safety and service brake life. You get 320 horsepower retardation with only a 6 kilogram weight penalty and easily meets the latest ADR requirements.
As you enter the downhill section, select the right gear for correct exhaust braking. That's the blue zone on the rev counter. Select either the exhaust brake or the engine brake to help to retard the truck. If the rev counter needle gets too close to the red band, then check brake with the service brakes to hold you back. That'll reduce road speed and also engine revs to a safe limit. The Volvo engine brake can produce up to 325 horsepower of retardation. That's the equivalent to an FL10 pulling you backwards. So it's no wonder that the VEB can dramatically reduce your brake wear. The FH range, like all Volvo trucks, reacts best to confident but gentle inputs on the controls. When changing gear, for instance, there is no point in forcing the gear lever. Neither should you double declutch or blip the accelerator during gear changes. Not only is it pointless, but it also wastes fuel. Ideally, use a single clutch action, but pause momentarily between gear shifts, like this. When it comes to hill climbing, allow the engine to use the torque band whenever possible. However, if you do have to change down a full gear, make sure you allow the engine revs to drop to the bottom of the green sector before changing down. This will use the engine's full potential output. It is acceptable to go into the orange sector on really steep hills, but remember, never exceed the engine's maximum rated power, which is 1900 RPM. Once you approach the top of the hill and you know there is a downslope on the other side, ease off the accelerator and allow the vehicle weight to assist you down the other side. After all, you've paid for the fuel once to climb the hill. There's no point in paying for it a second time by accelerating and then braking hard down the other side. With Volvo's low rolling resistance and class-leading aerodynamics, you can save fuel by using the weight of the truck to your advantage. For instance, we're heading towards a roundabout just now, and by lifting off the accelerator, you can roll towards the roundabout before selecting a lower gear for your maneuver. After all, Volvo in Latin means I roll. On a roundabout like this or a poor road surface, you really feel the benefits of the advanced suspension system.
For the FH, we developed and patented the S-parabolic spring. It's exceptionally light, it's maintenance-free, and it's road-friendly. Its shape is unique. It maintains the longitudinal location of the axle throughout the full suspension movement, something a conventional spring just couldn't do. This means the driver enjoys a stable ride and responsive steering regardless of the road surface he's travelling on. With air suspension as standard on the FH, coupling and uncoupling is simple, provided the following steps are taken. First, set switch 1 of the control box to the manual control position. An amber warning light illuminates on the dash. Using button 3, drop the rear suspension so that the fifth wheel is lower than the trailer bed plate. As you reverse under the trailer, raise the suspension slightly using button 2 until the fifth wheel contacts the bed plate and the kingpin can be engaged. Raise the suspension a little more to take the weight off the trailer legs. Now proceed with coupling in the normal manner. Before driving away, return switch 1 to the driving position. The light on the dash is now extinguished. When uncoupling, set switch 1 on the control box to the manual control position. The amber warning light will now illuminate on the dash. Raise the rear suspension a little using button 2. Lower the trailer landing legs. Lower the rear suspension using button 3 so that the weight of the trailer is supported by the trailer legs. Now proceed with uncoupling in the usual manner. With the tractor clear of the trailer, return switch 1 to the driving position. The light on the dash is now extinguished.
Thank you for joining me in this brief introduction to the FH range. The FH has been designed to give you, the operator, and drivers the edge in a highly competitive environment. I've highlighted some of the many benefits for you, but to get the full picture, you really got to try it for yourself. With the FH, Volvo puts the power in your hand.